Let's start with a question: what does success really mean to you? Is it money, recognition, power, or is it something deeper, something more tied to the sense of living fully on your own terms? Nietzsche would say that true success is far from conventional. It isn't something you achieve by following a formula or mimicking others. It's something you attract by becoming the most authentic, powerful version of yourself. Nietzsche was a philosopher obsessed with the idea of greatness, not in the sense of fame or fortune, but in the sense of self-overcoming. He believed that the key to attracting success wasn't effort but alignment. The more you align with your own strength, values, and vision, the more you naturally draw opportunities toward you. This isn't magic, it's philosophy applied to life. Here's where it gets interesting. Nietzsche believed most people live their lives in the shadow of others' expectations. He called this slave morality, a mindset where we seek approval, avoid risk, and prioritize comfort over growth. This way of living might feel safe, but it keeps us small. It keeps us from accessing the kind of energy that turns us into magnets for success. So what's the alternative? Nietzsche's answer is the Übermensch, the overman, or the one who rises above. The Übermensch isn't born, they're created through a process of self-mastery. It's about rejecting the easy path and choosing instead to live with courage, creativity, and purpose. This might sound intense, but here's the beauty: when you align with your higher self, you stop chasing success. Success begins to chase you. Let's break this down. What does it mean to align with your higher self? Nietzsche would say it starts with your will. Not just willpower, but your will to power. This is the inner drive to grow, to create, to become more than you were yesterday.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
It's not about competing with others. It's about competing with yourself. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you step closer to the person you're meant to be. And when you're aligned with that energy, the world can't help but respond. But let's be real, this isn't easy. Nietzsche knew that. He wrote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow. The point is, if you want to attract success, you need a why. Not a shallow goal like I want more money, but a deep purpose that pulls you forward, even when things get hard. Without a why, your will to power has no direction. It's like having a fire with no fuel." Here's something practical you can do right now. Take a moment to think about what truly excites you, not what you think you're supposed to want, but what actually lights you up. Nietzsche believed that passion is a compass. It points you toward your purpose. And when you follow that compass, you tap into an energy that's magnetic. You start to radiate the kind of confidence and conviction that draws success to you. Now, let's talk about effort. Nietzsche wasn't against effort, but he saw it differently than most people. For him, effort isn't about grinding or hustling. It's about flow. When you're aligned with your purpose, effort stops feeling like struggle. It feels like play. Think about the last time you were so immersed in something you loved that hours flew by without you noticing. That's the kind of effort Nietzsche valued, not forced, but natural. So why don't more people live this way? The answer lies in fear. Nietzsche believed that fear is the biggest obstacle to success, not fear of failure, but fear of becoming too powerful. Most people are afraid of stepping into their greatness because it means leaving behind the familiar. It means facing judgment, uncertainty, and even loneliness. But Nietzsche saw this as necessary. He wrote, "One must still have chaos in oneself to give birth to a dancing star." In other words, the path to success isn't smooth. It's chaotic. But it's also where transformation happens. Think about this: how often do you hold yourself back because you're afraid of what others might think? Nietzsche would call this a form of self-betrayal. Every time you shrink to fit someone else's expectations, you dim your light. But when you choose to live authentically, to express your unique vision and values, you start to shine. And that's what attracts success. Not effort, but energy. Not striving, but being. Here's another exercise for you. Write down one area of your life where you're playing small. Maybe it's at work, in a relationship, or even in how you see yourself. Then ask, what would it look like to show up fully? This isn't about being reckless or arrogant. It's about being unapologetically you. Nietzsche believed that the more you embrace your individuality, the more powerful you become. And power, in this sense, isn't about control. It's about presence. Let's go even deeper. Nietzsche had a concept called eternal recurrence. The idea is simple but profound. Imagine living your life over and over, exactly as it is, for eternity. Would you see that as a blessing or a curse? This thought experiment forces you to confront your choices. Are you living in a way that you'd want to repeat forever? If not, what needs to change? Success for Nietzsche isn't about reaching a destination. It's about living so fully and authentically that you wouldn't change a thing. To wrap up this part, think about this: success isn't something you chase. It's something you attract by becoming the kind of person who naturally creates it. Nietzsche's secret isn't a strategy or a formula. It's a mindset. It's about stepping into your power, aligning with your purpose, and embracing the chaos of life as a necessary part of growth. Let's continue with a simple but powerful question. What if the obstacles in your life aren't there to stop you, but to shape you? Nietzsche believed that challenges are not enemies to success, but essential components of it. He wrote, "What does not kill me makes me stronger." This isn't just about enduring hardship, it's about using it as a catalyst for growth. Think about the most successful people you know. Did their lives follow a smooth, unbroken path? Or did they face setbacks, failures, and moments of doubt? Nietzsche would argue that greatness is forged in the fire of adversity. It's the struggle that sharpens your skills, clarifies your purpose, and builds your resilience. Without it, you remain soft, untested, and ultimately unfulfilled. So how do you turn chaos into power? It starts with your mindset. Most people see obstacles as roadblocks, things to avoid or overcome as quickly as possible. But Nietzsche saw them as opportunities. He called this the will to power in action, the ability to transform difficulty into strength. It's not about avoiding pain, it's about facing it head on and coming out stronger on the other side. Here's something practical you can do the next time you encounter a challenge. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" Shifting your focus from resistance to growth changes everything. You stop seeing obstacles as barriers and start seeing them as tools for self-mastery. Let's go deeper. Nietzsche believed that suffering is inevitable, but whether it destroys you or elevates you depends on how you respond to it. He called this the concept of amor fati, or love of fate. It's the idea that you should embrace everything in your life, the good, the bad, and the ugly, as necessary for your growth. This doesn't mean you have to enjoy suffering. It means recognizing that even the hardest experiences contain lessons that can lead to your success. Think about a time when you failed. Maybe it was a project that didn't work out, a relationship that ended, or a risk that didn't pay off. At the time, it probably felt like the end of the world. But looking back, can you see how it shaped you? How did it taught you something you couldn't have learned any other way? That's amor fati in action. It's the realization that your failures are just as valuable as your successes, if not more so. Here's another exercise. Write down 3 challenges you're currently facing. Next to each one, write down one way it could help you grow. This might feel strange at first, but it's incredibly powerful. When you reframe your challenges as opportunities, you take back control. You stop being a victim of circumstance and start being a creator of your own destiny. Nietzsche also understood that struggle isn't just about external challenges. The biggest battles are the ones we fight within ourselves. Fear, doubt, and insecurity are universal, but they don't have to define you. Nietzsche believed that the key to overcoming these inner obstacles is self-awareness. You can't conquer what you refuse to face. Let's talk about fear for a moment. Fear is one of the most common reasons people shy away from success. It tells you to stay small, to avoid risks, to stick with what's safe. But Nietzsche would say that fear is a sign you're on the right path. He wrote, "The higher we soar, the smaller we appear to those who cannot fly. Fear often shows up when you're about to do something great, something that challenges the status quo or pushes you beyond your limits." So how do you move through fear? Nietzsche's answer is courage, but not in the way most people think of it. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's acting in spite of it. It's saying, I feel afraid, but I'm going to take the leap anyway. Every time you choose courage over comfort, you strengthen your will to power. And with each step, fear loses its grip. Now let's address another internal obstacle, doubt. Doubt is tricky because it disguises itself as logic. It whispers, what if you fail? What if you're not good enough? What if this isn't worth it? Nietzsche believed that doubt is a natural part of growth. It's a sign that you're stepping into the unknown, and the unknown is where success lives. Here's a way to handle doubt instead of trying to silence it. Use it as fuel. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen if I try and fail? And what's the best that could happen if I try and succeed? Often the fear of failure is far greater than the reality of it. When you weigh the potential benefits against the risks, you realize that the cost of inaction is far higher than the cost of failure. Let's talk about Nietzsche's concept of the eternal recurrence again. If you had to live this moment, this struggle, this doubt over and over for eternity, how would you approach it differently? Would you see it as a burden or as an opportunity to rewrite your story? This thought experiment isn't just philosophical. It's a tool for perspective. It reminds you that every choice matters and every challenge is a chance to become stronger. To bring this all together, let's consider the big picture. Life is chaotic. It's unpredictable, messy, and full of setbacks. But it's also full of possibilities. Nietzsche believed that the people who succeed aren't the ones who avoid chaos, they're the ones who learn to dance with it. They use every challenge, every failure, and every fear as stepping stones to something greater. So here's a thought to close this part. What if the chaos in your life isn't something to fix, but something to embrace? What if every obstacle you face is a test, not of your ability, but of your will? And what if success isn't about effort, but about transformation, about becoming the kind of person who turns chaos into power? In the final part, we'll explore how Nietzsche's ideas of self-overcoming and radical self-expression can help you build a life that doesn't just attract success, but redefines what success means. You'll learn how to create a reality so aligned with your values that success becomes inevitable. Let's bring everything together by asking, what does success mean if we strip away the expectations of society, the pressure to conform, and the need for external validation? Nietzsche's philosophy challenges us to redefine success not as something we achieve, but as something we become. Success, for Nietzsche, is about self-overcoming. It's about transforming yourself into a being so aligned with your own values and vision that success is no longer a goal, it's a byproduct. Think about what happens when you chase conventional success. You follow the rules, you meet expectations, you climb the ladder. But Nietzsche saw this as a hollow pursuit. He called it living for the herd, a life dictated by the values of others. True greatness, he argued, comes from rejecting the herd and creating your own path. This isn't about rebellion for its own sake. It's about living authentically, courageously, and unapologetically. Here's where Nietzsche's idea of the Übermensch becomes so powerful. The Übermensch isn't someone who achieves success by society's standards. They're someone who creates their own standards. They're someone who turns every challenge, every failure, and every doubt into an opportunity to grow stronger. They don't seek approval because they don't need it. Their success comes from within. So how do you step into this kind of greatness? Nietzsche's answer lies in self-expression. To attract success, you have to become a creator, not just of art or ideas, but of your own identity. This means rejecting the roles you've been assigned and embracing the freedom to define who you are. It means asking, what kind of life do I want to live? What kind of person do I want to be? And then taking bold, consistent action to make it a reality. Let's get practical. Start by looking at your daily life. How much of what you do is aligned with your values, and how much is driven by obligation or fear? Nietzsche believed that authenticity begins with small, deliberate choices. It's not about making radical changes overnight. It's about consistently choosing what feels true to you, even in the face of resistance. Next, think about the goals you've set for yourself. Are they truly yours, or are they borrowed from someone else? Nietzsche warned against living a life based on borrowed values. He saw this as the ultimate betrayal of your potential. If your goals don't light you up, it's time to rewrite them. Success isn't about ticking boxes, it's about creating a life that feels meaningful to you. Let's talk about energy. Nietzsche believed that the way you carry yourself, the energy you bring to each moment, is more important than what you achieve. People are drawn to those who radiate confidence, passion, and authenticity. This isn't about faking it. It's about cultivating an inner state of alignment so strong that it naturally attracts the right people and opportunities. Think about the last time you met someone who truly inspired you. What was it about them? Was it their accomplishments, or was it their presence, the way they seemed fully alive, fully themselves? That's the kind of energy Nietzsche is talking about. It's not something you can force. It comes from living in alignment with your higher self. Now let's address failure, because Nietzsche believed it's one of the most important teachers. When you fail, you're faced with a choice. You can see it as a setback, or you can see it as a feedback. The first response keeps you stuck. The second helps you grow. Nietzsche wrote, "You must have chaos within you to give birth to a dancing star." Failure is part of that chaos. It's not something to fear, but something to embrace. Here's a way to reframe failure. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "What can this teach me about myself?" Every failure contains a lesson about your strengths, your weaknesses, and your path. The more you learn from these moments, the more resilient and unstoppable you become. Nietzsche also believed that greatness requires solitude, not loneliness, but the ability to step away from the noise and reconnect with yourself. In solitude, you can hear your own voice more clearly. You can reflect on your values, your vision, and your progress. This isn't about isolating yourself. It's about creating space to think, to dream, and to plan. It's about taking ownership of your life. Let's not forget Nietzsche's concept of eternal recurrence. Imagine once again that you're living this moment forever. Are you proud of the choices you're making? Are you living in a way that feels true to you? If the answer is no, what needs to change? This isn't just a thought experiment. It's a call to action. It's a reminder that every moment is an opportunity to create a life you'd want to live over and over. To close, let's talk about what happens when you fully embody Nietzsche's philosophy. When you step into your power, align with your values, and embrace the chaos of life, you stop chasing success. You start attracting it. Not because you're trying, but because you've become the kind of person who naturally creates it. This is the secret. Success isn't something you do. It's something you are. Here's the final takeaway: you don't need permission to be great. You don't need anyone's approval to live authentically. You have everything you need within you. Nietzsche's philosophy isn't about following rules or formulas. It's about breaking them. It's about creating a life so aligned with your truth that success becomes inevitable. So what will you do with this knowledge? Will you keep playing by the rules of the herd, or will you step into your own power? The choice is yours. But remember, every moment is an opportunity to create the life you want. Every choice you make is a chance to become the person you're meant to be. And when you fully embrace that truth, success isn't something you chase. It's something that finds you,